All right, so it's been a little while since I last posted. The last video I made was the Chicago Basin 414ers in a day from Purgatory video. So awesome, but didn't actually get all four. If you watch the video, you find out why I got stormed out on Eolus and North Eolus. But anyways, let's get to the update. I created this channel originally for documentation purposes. So, you know, when I'm like 50 years old, I can look back and think, and say, you know, I did some pretty cool stuff back in the day. So that was like the whole point of originally doing the 14ers. After I finished them, I was wondering, what do I need? What do I do? I need something to keep me busy. So, and I finished them in October of 2023. March of 2024, I actually joined a track club, so I got into running. No specific distance until that September of 2024. I started training for the marathon, and then in December I ran at CIM and I ran a 2:32 for my very first marathon, and that's not bad. So, you know, I figured I might have some talent at that, and I want to pursue it further. And so that's kind of what I've been doing the last 2 years. So that's kind of why the 14er videos slowed down, because I'm not really hiking as much. I'm running instead. So with this channel, I think I'm probably gonna post more running stuff on it, as well as hiking when I get around to it. But that's kind of where my passion's at right now. And I kind of have a big goal I'm working towards too, which is going to be trying to qualify for the 2028 Olympic trials in the marathon. It's a very lofty goal, but I think I might have a chance at doing it. So given the minimal amount of training I had when I ran that 2:32. The problem is, I feel like a ton of YouTubers are also making the claim these days, and I feel like it's diluted the nobility of it a little bit. So, but no, that's going to be my new goal right now, is trying to make the trials. So, now, what's the problem with that? Well, even though I've been running the last 2 years, I actually had surgery about 3 weeks ago. So, what's the deal with that? Yeah, so I'll tell you when all my problems started. After I ran the marathon, I kept running, I kept doing my thing. That February of 2025, I had got COVID for 2 weeks. And that, you know, when you're not running and moving like you were prior to that, your body's going to atrophy a little bit, and you're going to lose some of that soft tissue resistance to the pounding from running. Anyway, came back to club practice, tried doing a speed workout. I was frustrated, so I really pushed my body pretty hard because, you know, I'd been sick the last 2 weeks. My Achilles swelled up right after that. So I didn't tear it. I might have had like a small tear possibly. I don't know why it would have swelled up so much otherwise, but you know, that's a form of tendonitis. Kept running through it. Not very smart. Don't do that. Don't do what I did. But I kept running through it, kept getting worse. You know, it was kind of like this, it'd get better in 2 days. I'm like, oh good, it's fixed. Then it would get worse. And then I would feel better. So anyways, this is back and forth. I didn't know anything about the problem at the time. And then my posterior tibial tendon, which runs along the inside of your ankle, that swelled up too. And I got tendonitis in that as well. So I was dealing with that for all of March. By April, I couldn't even really walk. It just hurt so bad. And my Achilles had been permanently swollen at this point, like for the last month. So something was seriously wrong with it. Got an MRI, found out I had tendinosis. I got the MRI in May. So this was 2 months of, you know, irritating the tendonitis of the Achilles. Long story short, tendonitis, and, you know, I'm not saying this 100% certainty because I'm not a doctor, but from what I understand, tendinosis is the degradation of your Achilles, or not your Achilles, your tendon tissues. In my case, it was the Achilles and the posterior tibial tendon. So tendons use collagen. I think it's type 1 collagen. And I think because I kept pushing it, they were healed with like type 3 or just the wrong type of collagen. So the fibers weren't healed correctly. They might have been messy. It wasn't as strong as what they're supposed to be. So right there's a functionality issue. This is all on my right leg, by the way. That's the common theme with my injury history, is my right leg. Had that problem for all of February, March, April, May, June. Then July, it started getting a little bit better because, I mean, I wasn't doing anything on it. So that's when I tried the Chicago Basin run, which I did successfully for the most part. Still a miracle I did that. Like, pretty much 30 miles. It was 29.8, I think, 29.9. I'm not gonna go into how I did that. I don't know how I did that. I wasn't exercising at all. That's crazy. But that's what being kept up in a apartment will do to you for 5 months. So I started getting on the mend, and then in the fall of 2025, I kind of made a big comeback and actually started training for indoor track. So I wanted to run the mile, and that was going really well. And I ended up doing 3 indoor mile races, one at Boston, Nebraska, and Colorado. And, you know, each time I ran those, my right Achilles would flare up after the races. Because, you know, if you don't know, spikes put a lot of stress on your calves and Achilles, like a ton. Anyway, finished those up, started training for 1500 in spring, and I only ran 1 race. I was at CU, and that was April 4th, actually, my birthday. So, Achilles felt fine. 2 days later, though, it swelled up. What did I do to it? Nothing. I mean, I don't know why it took 2 days for it to swell up, but that's what happened. And it got to the size of like a grapefruit again, and I knew something was seriously wrong, because it reminded me exactly like last year. So I went to go see an orthopedic surgeon, and then everything just happened really quick. I had known for a little while that I did want to get surgery on my ankle to stabilize those ligaments. But, you know, since I blew my Achilles again, I figured, why not see about getting both of those worked on? So I saw the surgeon, and he was pretty awesome. I mean, I've never seen a surgeon so gung-ho to just operate on someone, which honestly was kind of concerning at first, just because I was like, don't we need to kind of like think this through? But he was pretty confident. I mean, he was pretty experienced. So I ended up getting 3 surgeries done, and they are a modified rostrum, which tightens your ankle ligaments, the ATFL and CFL, I think. I'll get into that later. And Achilles debridement. So that's what Jakob Ingebrigtsen got. So that's where they remove all the damaged tissue from your Achilles sheath and Achilles itself. And then I also got a gastrocnemius recession. So the gastrocnemius recession was done via a Bowman procedure, because in the past they would cut through your actual muscle tissue or something, and it would cause atrophy, like permanent atrophy. So with this more modern procedure, they just cut your fascia to release tension in your Achilles. So that one kind of scared me. I had to do a lot of research before I agreed to doing that. But yeah, those are the 3 procedures I got. So calf lengthening, Achilles debridement, and then the modified rostrum. Oh yeah, and the modified rostrum is where they anchor, they snip your your ankle ligament, and they anchor it into the bone, and then they put a suture on there inside. So it kind of acts like as a internal brace of sorts, I guess. And then the doctor described it as melding to your bone or something over time. So there's no permanent hardware in there. So all these were minimally invasive. I had the surgery done 3 weeks ago now. And I figured at this point, since I can't run or hike, I would just upload kind of progression points for the surgeries. So yeah, because I tried finding a ton of videos online of, people who have had gastroc lengthening or modified rostrum and, Achilles debridement, and you'd be surprised. I couldn't find really anything about people's personal experiences with that, and then going back and running at a high level, sub 230 marathon kind of people. I saw a couple videos, there's an ice skater girl or something, and some other stuff where people weren't really, like a traveling channel or something. So nobody was really trying to run extremely fast after the surgeries. So I figured that would be helpful for anyone who wants to see how the progress is going. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing, given I've had all 3 of those surgeries. So now that I am 3 weeks in, where am I at? How am I doing? Well, I'll show you. So I've got a boot on right now, which is awesome. So I think progress is moving pretty quick. Well, obviously that's one of the perks of minimally invasive surgeries. So here's how it kind of went down. I'll show you some footage of me at the operating room. They gave me some, drugs, of course, anesthesia or something else. I don't know what they gave me, but I got loopy. So I'm back
in the operating room, ready to have surgery. Again, I've had 2 back surgeries before, believe it or not. But got the IV going, got my mom. I am getting, okay, hi, yeah. I'm getting gastroc lengthening from my calf muscles, and ankle ligament tightening, and Achilles debridement, because after I raced on my birthday, my Achilles swelled up again, and with my massive ankle instability, it caused a lot of problems. So I need to get these fixed if I have any hope of, running the marathon in the trials or whatever. So I'm not too excited about it, but it needs to be done. I'm like super high right now. This is the most relaxed I've been in a while. I'm hiccuping a lot too because I had Diet Coke, but it looks like it was successful. So, yeah, man, I feel pretty relaxed, dude. So I made it to the car. I'm slowly weaning off the high, I guess. They gave me animal crackers and I got a koala. That's pretty sweet. I'm still looking for the lion though. So yeah, I found my lion. That's pretty sweet.
Honestly, I kind of just napped for a few hours, but I was moving around pretty quick after that. So I got a scooter and some crutches, and I was kind of messing around with both of them. Scooter's definitely easiest for like the first 3 days after surgery. So, but I mean, I felt fine otherwise. They gave me a nerve block as well, so I didn't feel anything. In fact, I didn't have to take the oxy for like 3 days. I eventually did go on the oxy, and actually only really needed it for 2 days before I didn't really feel any horrible pain. So pain-wise, I'd say if you do get these surgeries, make sure they're minimally invasive, because I mean, I can't complain about the pain really. So let's see, after that, still no weight bearing. I had a cast on, the one you saw in the operating room video. And I got that off a week and a half later. So I met back up with the surgeon. They cut my cast off, they cut the stitches, and then they just said to work on, dorsal flexing the foot and no inversion. So no, like, if this is like the bottom of my foot, no going that way towards the toe. And that was 2 weeks ago now. Yeah, 2 weeks. Well, almost 2 weeks. So yeah, I've just been kind of taking the boot off. And they said I'm weight bearing, so I can wear this boot now, which, just some advice. Don't purchase a boot or crutches from the hospital or whatever, because they're going to charge you horrible rates for those. I don't know if if I were you, I'd get them like secondhand, or I don't know if you can get them off Amazon or not, but they're gonna be way cheaper than whatever the hospital charges you. I didn't get them from this hospital. I got them from urgent care when I sprained my ankle back in like 2024, falling off a bouldering wall. So luckily I already had all that. Just some good advice for you there. He said weight bearing as tolerable. So I started kind of playing around with that actually right when I got home. So this is a 1 week post surgery. The next day I was lifting at the gym. I've been trying to work upper body for the first time in like 3 years. It's not, I want to say it's not my forte, but I actually have some pretty good upper body strength, all things considering, but I just don't like it. I just don't like lifting like that. I'd rather run. Anyways, I was at the gym doing that, and then I decided to walk, and so I'll show you a clip of that. Okay, this is gonna look really pathetic, but this is my attempt at walking 1 week and 3 days post-surgery. So, oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, all right. Yeah, so that went pretty well, and I ended up just walking home as well.
Well, I made decent progress in a short amount of time. Oh my gosh, this is surprising even myself. I'm not easily surprised. Well, you know what? I don't need this trash anymore. Oh yeah, just kidding. I really do need those, holy smokes.
After that, I started just getting out and trying to do a little bit of walking and stretching the calf, which I think is really important, because if you don't stretch your calf, you're not going to be able to really walk, because that's going to limit the like your range of motion. You really shouldn't be pushing off your toes when you walk with the boot on. So, but you still want to be able to straighten out your calf, which was a problem I had initially. It was just so, like when you dorsal flex, it was just so tight from after the surgery, of course. Your body's like in a trauma response. So just doing that's probably the most important thing initially. But yeah, and now today we're almost at 3 weeks post-surgery, and I've been going on some 2-mile walks actually every morning, and then doing like another mile in the afternoon. And I don't even have to use crutches anymore. I always bring one just in case, but I'm walking pretty well. Now I will say that if I take the boot off though, not good. My foot, I don't know what it is. When you have the boot on, the foot feels nice and secure. You can walk around, really no problem, no pain whatsoever. When it's off, it's like a whole nother story. Like, I just feel like my foot's gonna give out. Like, really, I put all the weight on the heel. It just feels weird. And where they operated on my ligaments, that just feels really weird too. I don't know. I don't want to say a pinching pain, but it just feels kind of like knotted up there. I don't know. But anyways, that's kind of how the surgery's been going for the last 3 weeks. So I think pretty good progress. They said total recovery time of like 3 to 6 months. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm happy I can just get around and walk. Oh, I drove for the first time. So it was on my right foot. I can't drive, but I drove. It was really scary. I was more or less picking up my entire leg to push on the pedal rather than just dorsal flexing like that, because I don't want to invert it. So only if I absolutely have to drive will I. So that's kind of where that's at as well. Yeah, I'll keep posting updates when big milestones happen, and really that's all I can do right now for the channel. But I figured, might as well update you guys on what's going on and hopefully start posting some more, because I've got big goals and not too much time to achieve them, So we'll see.